Hi folks, welcome to the party. My name is Reverend Dave and I'm the host of this show. And today we have before you an 1851 Navy Revolver and 36 caliber. This particular model before you was manufactured in the year 2013. Sadly, this is not an original 1851 Navy, but it is a reproduction. In fact, it is a reproduction of 1851 Colt Navy Revolver called the London model. And there's a little bit of a story why this is a London model and not just what you call a regular 1851. So this was one of Colt's fastest, most popular selling firearms of the 1800s. And the overseas sales were just crazy. You know, people in, the militaries in Russia and England and so forth, they were all over Europe were buying these pistols. And so Samuel Colt opened a manufacturing plant in London, England to manufacture these. And what would happen is, how you could tell what a London model is typically the backstrap here and on the front part here and the finger guard and all that would be in steel, not copper, and they would be black. But when the plant first opened up in London, a lot of parts and stuff that were already made went ahead and were sent to London so they can get started. And so the backstrap and stuff that were manufactured in the US were copper, or brass, and so that's why some of them in London, made in London, the London models, have brass when most of the time they're just steel. But this one, instead of having a 7-inch barrel, has a 5-inch barrel, and that's another telltale sign. This was probably an officer's model, something an officer would have there in some military in Europe. Most Army pistols of the day were in 44 caliber. However, Navy pistols were typically in 36 caliber. Just a smaller ball. They didn't need the kind of pistols that Army troops were using, and so 36 caliber was fine. This particular, like I said, was made in 2013 by a company in Italy called Uberti. There's a couple of companies in Italy that make these reproduction pistols. Pietta. Now Pietta's a cheaper model, very good model, but the handles, they're not going to be shiny and they're going to be bigger. They're not going to be true to spec, mil spec. They're going to have larger handles for the larger hands of people of today. So that's going to be one way you can tell. And plus, just the quality of a Uberti is going to be a little better, a little nicer. It's going to cost you a little more. One way you could tell that you have a reproduction and not an original is if you look here underneath the barrel. Let's zoom in. You'll see it says caliber 36, black powder only, made in Italy. But all firearms in the 1850s were black powder. There were no rounds like this, cartridge rounds. There were nothing like that. They were all black powder, so every pistol being black powder would not have to say on it black powder only. So that's one easy way to know. These are fabulous pistols. Now, even though this was made in Italy, it has no import stamps. The markings you might see here and there are just trying to be reproduction marks, stamps of the era. They're not of modern day or anything like that. You don't have to fill out a form to get one of these. These are, in the United States, are not considered firearms. Any weapon or firearm made before 1899 is not considered a firearm, especially black powder. So And this being a reproduction of that did not have to be anything needing an import mark or needing, you know, I didn't have to go fill out some form to get this pistol. Now, something that's pretty cool about this is, just like what happened back in the 1800s, when rounds, cartridge rounds came about, like this, they came out with conversion kits and such to make them shoot modern, well, to them, modern day ammo. Here we have 38 long Colt, what they call cowboy ammunition, smokeless powder. So what would happen is you can buy these conversion kits. As you see, there's 3 loaded here. Take off this back part right here and you have, you know, the rounds in there. Each chamber has its own firing pin and so forth. And so as it rotates, the hammer comes down on one of these, boom, 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 firing them off. They're real fun to shoot. I enjoy it. Shooting black powder is kind of messy, especially trying to use this. In another video, I'll show how to load black powder in this and shoot it and so forth. And it'll be a lot of fun. Pretty messy, but fun nonetheless. I must say, you know, due to I was naive, and when I first got this, I thought that old weapons, especially, you know, in the 1800s, because they're so old, were more simplistic. And no, these are like a Swiss watch. There's so many moving parts and tiny little pieces all inside here in the handle and in here, everything. It's just, after I got done shooting one day, black powder could be corrosive, and so I wanted to make sure everything was clean because I knew I wouldn't be shooting it for a while. However, after taking it fully apart, everything, cleaning it, I couldn't put it back together again. What I ended up doing was putting all the pieces into a Ziploc bag, mailing it to Taylor & Company, which is the company that imports this into the United States. And they were fabulous people over there. They you know, one of the gunsmiths over there put the firearm back together for me. I think all I had to pay was shipping and such. I didn't have to pay a whole lot. But it's a fun pistol to shoot. I definitely recommend it. They're pretty fun. Again, a little bit later, I'll talk about, you know, in another video about the engraving, what this is all about. There's a history between Texas and this firearm. Of course, this came out in 1851, and Texas was only around for about, you know, just under 10 years, almost 10 years, when it was its own country from 1836 and so forth. So by the time this firearm came around, Texas was already annexed by the United States. But Samuel Colt had a great respect for the state of Texas, the Republic of Texas, and he wanted to pay tribute to it. And so he did here. This is a famous Navy battle that took place with the Texas Navy, and I'll go into that sometime later. But this is a replica Colt 1851 Navy Revolver London model, made by Uberti. This particular model right here was made in 2013. If you have a chance, get you one. Get a conversion. You know, have some cowboy fun, have some black powder fun. You guys have a blessed day.